Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
And also, Brother Frazier's wife passed. Well, we got Reverend Barnett in the house. Amen. Let me see if I can get him to say a word here. Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Good morning, Dr. Davis.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. We're blessed.
See y'all here holding the fort down and sending out all the blessings of joy.
Oh, yes, sir. I know you got some good news for him this morning.
Well, we got to keep on keeping on and keep our heads above the water and stay aware of what's going on. Stay informed about what's going on in this world around you, because everything that's happening is in the Bible.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Those nations are lining up. They're lining up the way the Bible said they would.
You're right.
Exactly the way the Bible said they would.
Right.
The Bible is so right, and it's so pure, it's so holy. It's God speaking to us. And some of us still have our heads buried in the sand and don't want to adhere. Syria is in the Bible.
You're right. You're
All
right.
right now. All those nations, Lebanon.
Yeah.
Israel is right there, a neighboring country. All of these, Russia, China, North Korea, all these nations are in the Bible. Iraq, Iran, everybody. And they're all lining up the way the Bible said they would line up. How could some human being know this thousands of years ago?
Got to be God.
What's going to be happening today?
Glory.
We're talking about it. God. The people better wake up. You better listen. We're going to talk some about that this morning. We're going to talk about a lot of other things. I'm going to do more biblical talking and show people really what's going on in the Word. I usually will reserve this for my church, but I'm going to teach this audience a lot of things, how this last war, this great war is going to line up.
How it's going to line up. Will you take a minute out to invite them to church?
Yes, I'd love for them to come to Heavenly Joy. We're located at Bruton and Masters there in the Pleasant Grove area, there in the Bruton Masters Shopping Center. Just come by and see us. We're going to be out there working in the community today. We work in the community. We are going to talk with people and read scriptures, give them tracts and different things like that. But we need people to wake up and be aware to make sure your insurance is paid.
Yes, sir.
It's time to pay up now.
Yes, sir.
See, you can't pay him later.
Yes, sir.
Pay him now. Then what you're going to get later, you're going to wish you had paid your fire insurance.
Yes, sir.
Amen. All right. Make sure you have some fire insurance.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Reverend Barnett. He'll be coming up at 7 o'clock with some church news and community informed. Well, it's almost time for us to get out. We hope we play some or say something to inspire you to get a little bit closer to God. We didn't play your request. Please charge to our head and not our heart.
Slim, can I take it like that? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Taking pity is simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying? What?
It's time.
Yep.
Time to make the change.
Here we go.
We are the people who can do it.
Oh yeah.
It's time. Time to make the change. We are the people who can do it.
Yo, Mob, kick it for me one time.
What is the world coming to? Seems like everyone is running from the truth.
We'd like to say good morning. This is Church Information, 7 to 9 a.m. right here on KNON 89.3 FM. the voice of the people. Yeah, we got a lot of things going on, a lot of things to talk about going on in this city and this nation and around the world, around the globe. And I hope and pray that we can be cognizant of what's happening to us. We're getting it from every angle. If you in one situation, you might be getting shafted on health care if Republicans have their way. We might be getting shafted in another way with the whole world getting going into turmoil. If we end up in another war, we have so much going on in this country and around the world that we got to discuss this. We better be cognizant of what's happening to us. Also, we got in the studio with us our Run Right, the Reverend Dr. Run Right, and he has a young lady with him. The young lady, can you tell us who you are?
I'm Miss Kemp, and I'm with Local 100, the union that has actually been contracted to do health care in the city of Dallas. We're actually enrolling people in the Affordable Care Act, which will begin on October the 1st.
That's Obamacare.
But we call it
No, Obama. No. The president called. He said, "I'm gonna call it Obamacare because after a few years, the Republicans are not gonna want to call it Obamacare. Once they find out how it really works."
We're the organization that has been contracted in Dallas to do the affordable care here in Dallas, enrolling people in that that want to know. Basically, what we're going to do is pass out lots and lots of flyers to people that need to know where to call to get enrolled.
Okay.
So it's basically we'll be doing sort of like Dallas County, giving them 1,000 flyers a week to distribute for us. And Kenneth is also with Local 100. He
Okay.
can tell you a little bit more. I'm not going to talk.
Is Gene Lance with Local 100 too?
No, he's with the AFL-CIO.
Oh, okay.
And we're part, all the unions actually come together to fight different issues. So basically that's what we're doing now today is getting people enrolled.
What part of town will y'all start in, and how will people know when to expect to see y'all? Could you introduce yourself, young man?
My name is Kenneth Stretcher, and I'm a field organizer for the United Labor Union's Local 100. And we're doing outreach, like Clydell said, we're doing outreach work for the Affordable Care Act. Different organizations, this is something that's been turned over to different community organizations to do. The United Way is doing it in Tarrant County. The Local 100 office here in Dallas is doing it in North Texas, and the Local 100 office in Houston is doing it in South Texas.
All right. The Affordable Care Act, you're going to be out educating people about health insurance. Is that the basic thing?
Exactly. We're the we've taken a training course that's put on by the Health and Human Services Department to do what they call the navigation work, which is just the public, which is the
it's just the overall view of how it works and how people can sign up to get in it.
There's a lot of misinformation about the Affordable Health Care Act. It's a lot of misinformation.
Exactly.
I hear people talking all the time. people that need the insurance. We're talking about we don't need this. It's going to go up and everything, and they don't have any insurance at all. And this will help insure most people. We all have to explain the basics to people about how this can help anybody, because if you can go through a catastrophe right now and have a catastrophic illness, it can wipe you out forever.
Exactly.
And this would protect you from being wiped out with a catastrophic illness. All right. What about if you're already sick and don't have any insurance? Will this help you gain insurance for insurers who would not insure you if you're already ill?
Right. This removes that pre-existing illness requirement that the health insurances have used against us up to now.
What about if you use it so long and then can they tell you, hey, you've used all yours up, we got to cut you off? What about it now?
No, this removes the cap that the health insurance companies have used against us up to this point.
Now, what percentage of Texans have no insurance, no health insurance? Y'all have that?
It's the largest number of people in the United States, percentage wise.
Percentage-wise, more
it's,
Texans are uninsured.
Right.
Right, more Texans are uninsured. We didn't bring the exact data, but it's millions and millions of people. And our job is to help people understand, answer the questions like you're saying, that, it's going to make my costs go up. But people have actually, by enrolling, have seen, some of their premiums go down.
Okay, yeah, well, that's that. I know New York and California, it's going down.
Yes.
Because a lot of people the more people enroll, the less it'll cost, because the insurance company, actually who's going to really make money is insurance companies going to make money off this too, because they have more people to insure to paying premium.
What the Affordable Care Act does is extend health insurance it requires health as of October the 1st. Everybody will be required to have health insurance, either from the job or through the health care marketplace that's being set up right now. It streamlines the whole application process, and you'll be given a choice of 4 different plans. One that has an actuarial value of 60%, one that has an actuarial value of 70%, one that has an actuarial value of 80%, and one that has an actuarial value of 90%. And it will be available at a reduced cost to people who make up to 400% of the federal poverty level. When this was put in place to begin with, the plan was to expand Medicaid at the same time to cover people as young as 19 years old who are at 138% of the federal poverty level.
All right. Now,
but in our state, that's what Governor Perry refused to do.
Well, answer me, why is Texas such a red state? We have more people that need health insurance than any other state, as you say, percentage-wise, and more people, period, other than California, that need health insurance.
Well,
but we got people that actually vote against themselves.
Now, just let me clarify something. We're not here to sell insurance and we're not supposed to be giving our opinions about things.
You can't give your opinion?
Not
We're not really supposed to be doing that. Our whole role here is to inform people about the Affordable Care Act and how to get enrolled in the process. But now we have some pretty strong opinions about Texas and the health insurance process, but that's not really what we're supposed to be doing.
But I don't know. I'm not familiar with your local, I guess, but I can't see how it cannot be explained. In the simple fact that there are a lot of people that you're going to talk to will reject you because of misinformation that these people have given about Obamacare. And I was in D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and the president himself calls it Obamacare.
Exactly.
He wants it to be called Obamacare since they're going to hang that label on him. And when you say the Affordable Health Care Act, half the people don't know what you're talking about.
No.
Because it's been given the name Obamacare. We have to be for real and getting your message out. And it really puzzles me how people can need something so desperately. I know Texas, I think we moved ahead of even California in the number of children that has no insurance.
Exactly.
I think we and California has several million people more than Texas, but we moved ahead of them.
Exactly.
With uninsured children.
Exactly, and that's why we actually felt like the need of the people because we work. Our union is based on low-income workers.
Great.
People that work in low-income jobs.
Would you say that again? Because we have a lot of people here in America think that everybody that's poor is unemployed.
Right.
And most people that are poor get up and go to work every day.
Every day. And that's a misconception that this country has. But it's a lot of poor workers that need to be organized, and as you know, they actually a lot of low-income workers have taken to the street. We also work with people that it's a whole world full of people that work for less than $10 an hour in this country, and those are the people, that most unions don't organize, and we're one of the oldest unions around that actually do that. And Kenneth can tell you the length of how long we've been here and kind of what we do.
Okay.
This union is the United Labor Union's Local 100 is a union that covers Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. We have offices in New Orleans, Houston, Baton Rouge, Shreveport, and Little Rock, and maybe Lake Charles. But we organize here in Dallas. We organize school district support employees, school bus drivers, minimum wage workers, the minimum wage employees of contractors in the city. We've organized Head Start workers. We've organized employees of employees of custodial contractors at the airport and in the city. And right now, we're trying to reach out to the minimum wage employees of contractors and any other minimum wage worker to get them organized.
Do y'all deal with Walmart?
No, now we're not organizing in Walmart. There's a whole lot of organizing going on at Walmart, and we've been to some of the meetings and been to some of their actions. But one of the things we're really trying to focus on now is organizing the minimum wage workers that haven't been reached by other unions.
Now, I noticed when was that? Last week there was a strike with, McDonald's. Yeah, well, it's more than McDonald's. I think any of the fast food. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, that was a fast food worker strike. I know it took hold in the Northeast, what I saw. I don't know if it took hold here in Dallas, which I doubt. This is a tough place. It did. Well, good, good. I want them happy when they flipping my burger. I don't. When somebody mad with the world while they fixing my burger, I don't want that.
What people don't understand, Reverend Barnett, is that when I talk to people and organize them, and Kenneth does too, is basically we tell them, who are you fighting? And how many of you are in the same boat versus them with the power. And sort of when you're organizing people need to understand that, when you're going after the man in charge, how many of you is behind you versus this man in charge. So people clearly, if people are informed that you have more power because you work there.
You're the one who make the company. Exactly. The company is nothing without the worker. Exactly. But somehow it look like we've been sold a bill of goods that the big shots is the company and the workers are nothing. And it's just the opposite.
Right. And I mean, it's a lot of laws that really need to be changed here. I think our president talked about, a universal sick pay. We don't even get, if your company opts out of paying you sick pay, you don't get that. So I'm going to let Kenneth.
I tell you what, right now, this is radio station Knon 89.3 FM on your dial. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, our guest this morning. Could you introduce yourselves again, young lady, young man?
I'm Cledell Kemp. I'm a local organizer for Local 100.
I'm Kenneth Stretcher, and I'm a field organizer for the United Labor Union's Local 100.
And we also have the Reverend Dr. Ron right here. He's with the UB hearing from him in just a moment. We're up against a short break, and we're going to take it, and you can call us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. We'll be back in just one moment.
Box. So send your pledge to KNON 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas 75235. And if you missed our pledge drive, you can still support community radio by pledging on the web at knon.org. Your pledge only counts if you pay it. Remember, don't use the P.O. Box. Send that pledge to KNON 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200 in Dallas 75235. Be sure to put the name of the show you are supporting on the check, money order, or envelope. Questions about KNON pledge drive? Call 214-828-9500 extension 234.
When they're gone for good. This is Scott from KNON's Texas Blues Radio telling you don't miss out on some great blues. KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. It's a CD put together by real blues fans for real blues fans like you. Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 features great local blues from Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, JJ and the Detonators, the Chris Watson Band, the Two Tones, Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, Dave Millsap, Sirloin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Tutu Jones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, and Johnny Red and the Roosters. Get a copy now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Recordtown in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records. This is a Dallas Blues collector's item. A very limited amount of vinyl copies can be found at Forever Young Records, the sponsor of this great blues project. CD downloads are available at cdbaby.com. Whether you get it as a download, on vinyl, or on CD, all the proceeds will benefit KNON. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. And you can join this conversation if you have some questions or comments to our guest this morning. And Dr. Ron Wright is here also, civil rights leader here in Dallas. if you have questions or comments, call us at 972-647-1893. If you have questions or comments about the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare, you've heard so many distortions, so many untruths about this. This is one of the best plans that has come along in a long time. I've read it. It's very, 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 very long. I've read it, and yes, you want this. You want this. Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson was supposed to join us this morning, but she'll do that next Saturday. She had to go out to New Mexico with the Congressional Black Caucus. They're doing some things on health care across this nation. The Black Caucus is working to make sure people understand what Obamacare is. They're making sure because the opposition have spent millions. They are basing in 2014 campaign on if they can convince people Obamacare is no good. We have a Texas senator that's trying to run for president opposing Obamacare. We've got everything. Yes, they said they're not political. Okay, you don't have to say anything political, but we do have to tell the truth about what's really going on. Those who will oppose your well-being is not for your well-being. Let's be truthful about this situation. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Reverend Wright, you've been listening. What do you think about this?
Bess, I want to know how does the Obamacare relate to those who are unemployed here in the state of Texas? Because Texas has a large rate of unemployment. And how does that relate to the unemployed people? I heard you said it's going to be mandatory that everybody gets insurance. What about those that are unemployed? And when I say unemployed,
he's about to answer.
When I say unemployed, Texas has the most highest incarceration rate in anybody in the United States, and people who it went from the Texas Department of Correctional to criminal, and so there's no forgiveness in that, and so people are getting out by the hundreds who are looking for employment. They can't get employment. So how is that going to relate to them?
Well, beginning October the 1st, everybody will be required to have health insurance, either through Medicare, Medicaid, CHIP, or a job, or through the Obamacare or the health marketplace. And you'll be that is, everybody is required except people who are incarcerated, and Indians who have access to their own health programs, and there's a few other exceptions. But if you're without health care, beginning October the 1st, you will you'll come to a health care, and you'll come to someone who is doing the enrolling. There'll be numbers to call, and you'll be enrolled through a real quick, speedy, efficient enrollment process. If you're unemployed, your cost will, the cost to you will either be free or significantly reduced.
Free or significantly reduced
the price.
Your price.
Yeah, the price.
Okay, all right.
It's going to be cheap enough for you to afford it.
Also, to answer Reverend Wright's question about we have young people in prison. If they're under the age of 26, they can be on their parents' plan, right? So that covers some of them, and like he answered,
that's great because
right.
I know our kids, right after they come out of college, they don't have a job, but they've reached 22, and they got kicked off the insurance.
Right.
And there are a lot of things can happen between 22 and 26 years old. A young person can get sick, injuries, something like that, and they will have no insurance. But Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act,
Right.
will not allow the insurance to just kick them off because they've reached their 22nd birthday.
Right.
There's just so many wonderful things about this. Will your local how will y'all do? Is y'all going to be sitting at places in front of stores, or you walk the streets, or how will y'all do this?
Right now, we're meeting with community leaders. We've been to Eddie Bernice Johnson to ask her help, and we're reaching out to community organizations, churches, to help, to ask them to help us distribute this information.
Why didn't you go to Mr. Hensling? Some of these others, Sam Johnson. Why did you go to Eddie Bernice Johnson?
Why did we go to Eddie Bernice Johnson?
Yeah, why didn't you go to Sam Johnson, Mr. Hensling, Barton, some of those? Why did you talk to any of them?
No, we talked to the people who we felt would be sympathetic to what we were doing and who would be inclined to help us.
Okay, you said this is not political. All right. Okay. But anyway, we have to understand let's understand what's going on here. Anybody that'll oppose you, or your family, your children, your wife, your husband, your grandchildren, or whatever, having health care. I don't care if they've been in prison or whatever that is. Everybody needs to have the dignity of being able to be sick.
That's right.
Everybody needs that dignity. I'm told now, I don't know, that, I don't know, maybe it happened years ago, women could have a child at Parkland. If they knew she was having a child out of wedlock, they would talk to her so bad. They used to disgrace them. I've been told that by dozens of women. Have you ever heard that before?
No,
I have.
I wasn't. I'm not aware of that. I've been here almost 50-something years, but
Well,
I wasn't aware of that. But I
been
know
told.
they talk to people bad.
Can I tell you? I've got a story that relates to that.
Okay, Kenneth's got the story.
Come on, Kenneth, give us that information.
In 1949, my aunt was a nurse either at Parkland or Baylor. My mother was pregnant with me, and my aunt told her, before you come to the hospital, be sure and wash your feet, because those nurses make fun of poor women that come to the hospital to deliver their babies.
Is that right?
That's right.
They made fun of them. Well, I'm told this was standard at Parkland. They talked to you bad. They did everything. But see, when you've got insurance, you can wreck your car. If you got insurance, they love you. If you don't have any insurance, they look at you sideways. There's dignity in being insured, not only just for the health side, just for psychologically. You feel better knowing that someone will do something, will take care of you. You get the best of health care. Now, I've also been told Parkland is one of the best hospitals in the world once you get in. But before you get there, they run you through the ringers at the front desk, wanting to know your position on how you're going to pay for it and pay for this. But if they know you've got insurance, I think you'll be seen a lot quicker if they know that they're going to be paid for what's needed. And all insurance companies, all hospitals, all of them like that, all of them, especially with so many for-profit hospitals now.
Well, not to interrupt you, but most of the hospitals actually back Obamacare because, I don't know if people know that you are charged a different price if you do not have health insurance. When you go in, it's a different price than they charge people with health insurance.
Yeah, and aspirin costs $500 if you're paying for it.
So it's extra all the way down this line, and they steer people to social worker. So the best thing that happened is that people will no longer have to be fearful of ruining their lives because they don't have health insurance. And a lot of cities we had to fight to keep people from, they tried to put liens on people's homes,
Oh, yeah.
If people have suffered
It can wipe you out.
from not having health insurance. So basically, the reason we took this endeavor on is that we wanted to see people get health care. And we're out there working to make sure that we contact most of Texas, because it's a group here in Dallas, but it's also one in Houston. And we're going to be doing all of North Texas.
Oh, that's a tremendous task y'all has before us. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because if you go in a hospital and no insurance, yes, an aspirin costs you $500. But they don't realize insurance companies and hospitals, they get together, and insurance companies and hospitals, they argue about price. Insurance get them to come down on prices, where you don't have that leverage if you're working as an individual. You need insurance. We need to have something that's going to really have something that's going to take us better, and all this is education. That's all. What y'all, and it's so great y'all are getting out and gonna get the word out. How many people do y'all have working with you?
Right now,
We have
we're training.
there's three of us, three besides Cledell and I. We're hiring. We're going to hire a total of 10 people to do this. One will eventually will just sit in the office and help people enroll. And then there'll be another 9 of us out meeting with people and out on the streets getting the material out.
Would y'all train and have volunteers working? Would that be feasible?
That's what we're trying. That's part of the plan, yes. And we need to.
Because North Texas is awfully big.
Right.
And you have if you take and just say North, what we call North Texas, you're talking about over 7 million people.
Right.
It's awfully big, and a large percentage of those 7 million are uninsured. A large percentage. Y'all have a task before you. Oh my God, 10 people. You're gonna need 10,000 just to
Well,
show the tip of the iceberg.
We've been able to, from years down through the years, this union has taken on big events. I know in Arkansas, I rode from the top of Arkansas to the bottom. I'd wake up in motel going, what city am I in, where we do campaigns. And we actually took few people, but actually, if you do the numbers to win things, that's what we do.
But it's
we're going to do
it's more people in Oklahoma than it is in the whole state of Arkansas. What in the world are you talking about?
But I'm talking about if you do the numbers, if we look at the numbers, that's when we're doing community groups. I mean, letting community groups interact with us and give us volunteers. So once this gets out, people are going to take on to, I need to get health insurance, because basically, they're going to be charged a mandate on their insurance if you're not insured. And that's
good. It's going to cost you not to be insured. Oh, yeah. But it costs so much more if you have a catastrophic illness and go run up $500,000, which it don't take a whole lot. Insurance be a hospital bill. Tell you what, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. All righty, let's go to our phone line. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Michael. All righty. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. I had a thing that happened to me that wasn't too good at Parkland Hospital one time. I was laying flat on my back. I'd had a spinal tap, and when you have a spinal tap, I didn't know this. It's very important that if you don't ever sit up, and so
you don't sit up.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I say you don't sit up if you've had a spinal tap.
If you've had a spinal tap, if you sit up, you'll have terrible headaches the rest of your life. And they told me that, and I was laying on my back, just in all kinds of agony as my legs were coming back awake, and I just kept moaning and moaning. I was in really serious agony, and they said, no, we can't give him any Demerol. So we got Demerol for him. Okay, well, the doctor says, as needed. And the other woman said, with a clipboard in hand, said, well, is he a paying patient? I was laying on my back in tremendous pain. And they said, is he a paying? And one other woman said, check, and said, no, he's not.
Check your books on
it. They walked away.
Now, I don't think your story is unique.
I had, it's not, and I had to start getting up.
Wait a minute, did we lose line 4?
No, he's still on.
No, line 4 is gone. He's gone. He's been cut off. You did? Okay, who do you have on line 2? That's what it's showing on here. We're having some technical difficulties.
That's amazing, though, Pastor, because I was at Baylor Hospital and pretty much the same thing happened to me. I heard them ask did the patient have insurance, and they said no, and they all kind of like, well, let's walk away from this. It doesn't matter. Give her the minimum health care we can give her and let her get on out of here. And I thought, wow.
Well, it's about money.
Political.
And sure, well, politics and money is synonymous. When we see how greedy this world has become, they don't care anything about the needy.
Right.
And until the needy gets together, there are far more needies than there are greedies. They can do something about this situation. Until the poor people get together, until working class people get together, middle class get together, it's a few people at the top that control this whole thing.
That's what I tell people every day when I organize. Reverend Barnett, you're so right. I said, and I'm going back to what I stated, that people need to come together, whether it's fighting insurance, education, whatever. We're the majority. But, and I say to people like this, every rich millionaire in this country know each other. Do you know people on the same basis? How many people do you know on the same basis that you are?
We got people live next door to each other now that don't know one another. The callers that got cut off, please try to get back in. We want to hear your story. I tell you what, we're up against a short break. And we'll be back in just one moment.
Knon thanks you for your pledge to our recent pledge drive. Now is the time to make your pledge count. Knon has a new address for you to send your pledge to. Knon no longer uses a P.O. box. Send your pledge to Knon 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas 75235. If you missed our pledge drive, you can still support community radio by pledging on the web at knon.org. Your pledge only counts if you pay it. Remember, don't use the P.O. box. Send that pledge to Knon 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200 in Dallas, 75235. Be sure to put the name of the show you are supporting on the check or money order or the envelope. Questions about Knon Pledge Drive, 214-828-9500, extension 234.
And they note, and job creation is picking up. So come on, people, get happy. With Labor Day in mind, maybe we should clue these economists into one big reality behind our so-called recovery. Most Americans haven't recovered. In June, median household income was still $3,400 less than when Wall Street crashed our economy in 2007. Why? Because those new jobs are really jobettes, paying poverty wages with no benefits or upward mobility. In the Great Recession, about 60% of the jobs we lost were middle-wage positions, paying approximately $14 to $21 an hour. Most of those jobs have not come back. Instead, of the jobs created since the recovery began, nearly 6 out of 10 are low-wage, paying less than $14 an hour. A central fact of the new American economy is that all of the wealth gains go to the top, with working-class people falling into poverty, increasingly unable to make a living at their jobs. To grasp this widening inequity, befuddled economists might bite into a burger or pizza. 7 of the 12 biggest corporations that pay their workers the least are fast food giants. Yum is one. Workers in this conglomerate, which owns Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell, and others, average $7.50 an hour. In contrast, the CEO hauls off $20 million every year, even as Yum lobbies against any hike in our nation's minimum wage. This is Jim Hightower saying this is no way to run a business, an economy, or a society. It's shameful. That's why a growing grassroots coalition is holding one-day strikes with thousands of fast food workers all across the country. It's a matter of justice, as one church leader said.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, and we're talking about the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare, as we would call it, and the president wanted it called Obamacare now because people are beginning to wake up and see what's going on, how good this can really be for everybody. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. All righty, what's the green line? What's 3? We'll take that at the end of the hour. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning. No, line 4 and say good morning to Doc Edwards. Good morning, Doc. We don't have him on. Just bring him on. Dr. Edwards, are you there?
Yeah, Reverend.
Good morning, Doc.
All right, how you doing?
I'm fine. You doing all right this morning?
I'm doing good. I normally like to sleep in late on Saturday, but I can't do it because Reverend Barnett's show is on. I know he's going to have some good stuff on.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, I was supposed to have had Congresswoman Johnson, but you know the Congressional Black Caucus, they're out in New Mexico this weekend.
Oh, okay.
They're supposed to be here pretty soon. She'll be with me next week on next Saturday, but they are going across the nation teaching people about the Affordable Health Care Act.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great thing. However, I caution people to understand how our health system works. You remember now that, and you said this earlier, that it's in this country, it's a privilege to have health care. That means that if you don't have money, if you can't survive the bill for the biopsy, or you have major medical insurance, you will be seen at the county hospital or seen by the least trained or intern or first year resident. So they need to really understand. But here's the bottom line to the Affordable Care Act, Health Care Act. It's not going to work long term, and the reason that it's not going to work long term is because of the Health Care Quality Improvement Act of 1986. What the insurance companies do, the insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, hospitals, all of the regulators of the healthcare industry, they use the Health Care Quality Improvement Act to actually neuter any provider or any hospital that they want. And once this thing gets up and get going, people started paying premiums. The insurance companies right now are so happy that they're going to get another 30 million people who are paying premiums who were not a year ago. Now, they are not going to pay out what needs to be paid out like they did me in my case. And, of course, you know, we're working together with this Reverend Barnett. The code needs to be cracked on how they're going to abort this Health Care Improvement Act, the Affordable Care Act. And it is all You know, this is the honeymoon of the Healthcare Act. But I can tell you, once this thing settles down, they're going to do exactly what they've done with the Medicaid system, with the Medicare system, and how they stop paying doctors. They're going to do the same thing with the Affordable Care Act.
Okay, now, if we turn out to the polls in 2014 and vote certain people out of office, could that help save this? Because remember, that was going to be, and it should have been, but the president did not believe he could get the single payer provision where there would be competition with these insurance companies to insure people. Would that improve that plan where he could maybe bring in a single payer plan?
Well, the single payer plan, he couldn't get everything through.
And I know that's one of the things that really has held it up as much as it has been held up. But if we were able to ever get that single payer in where people could really have a choice whether they want to take this or not, remember competition will drive prices down.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we had talked about one other time on the show. Is that you could do like the telephone industry, AT&T, T-Mobile, and so forth. Whether
they busted them up.
Yeah. No, they don't want it that way. That would.
I know, but see, that single payer would bust these insurance companies and everything. It would bust it up, and then the little man will have an opportunity. And I better quit saying little man, because there are a lot of middle class people cannot afford $1,200-$1,500 a month to insure their families. There are a lot of people. They make good money, but that's a whole lot of money.
Yeah, they're paying thousands of dollars in insurance.
Yeah,
but
that would bust that up if we had a single payer.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to do a whole. You'd have to do a whole new, shebang on this deal to try to get that. Because what they did, they said, okay, we'll let you get this through, but you're not gonna come back with a single payer. Because if you came back with a single payer, it would absolutely abolish the act that I've been telling you about. This actually ramshod on providers and their patients. That's what needs to be changed. The healthcare.
We can change that in 14. If we go to the polls. Now, I can't say that too loud. I got a friend on the other end of the table don't want me to talk about this. But it's just the reality of this situation. The reason why they got this mess in, we didn't go to the polls in 10. The reason why all this is coming down on us like it is. Exactly. It's up to us.
That's true.
It's up to us. And see, you're going to win your case because all of this is coming to a head at the right time for this situation. I know it's been a long time since they mess you around and they owe you a lot of money. But we have got to get to the polls in 14.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, man.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Edwards. All right. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Where am I? Let's bring did we never did get Michael back, did we? Let's bring James on line 1. Let's bring James on. All right. Good morning, James.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Fine, how are you? I have a quick question I want to ask you about that affordable care. The premium that you pay for insurance, is this going to be tax deductible?
Well, as far as I know, they've always, as far as I know, maybe we have young union people. Y'all can tell us, did that change?
I can't deduct my taxes. I can't deduct my insurance from on my taxes. I pay like $200-something a month.
Oh, well, I'll have to check that out. We have to look it up. If I had my computer in here, we pull that up, but I'm not sure. I don't think the taxes on it will change.
The insurance that you buy, to the best of my knowledge, the insurance that you buy through the marketplace is you'll be. Well, I know for sure that you'll be given tax credits to use to reduce your income taxes and to bring the overall price of the health insurance down. And I know that you'll you'll have there'll be cost sharing involved that will help bring the price of the health insurance down. I know there'll be, but I don't believe you'll be able to deduct the small premiums that you pay for this new health insurance from your taxes, but you'll use your income taxes to help reconcile any monies that you owe or they owe you.
Yeah, that sounds right, because you will be given a tax credit, which is really a reduction in taxes. I would say yes and no on that. A direct deduction, I don't know if you would write it off your income tax, but you'd be given a tax credit for doing it. So that is a reduction in taxes. Yes, I go on them and say yes. I'm not sure, but I think so.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
972-647-1893. Is this Michael? Is this the Michael we had? Or is this another Michael? This same Michael? Oh, you got back in? All right, let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Michael. All righty? Good morning, Michael. Are you there?
Hey, good morning.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was wanting to tell you about something that happened at Baylor then, if it's all right.
Go right ahead.
Okay. I had a deal to where my had a tooth that was swollen, and there was so much edema, I guess is what you call it, that it was starting to affect my sleep. In other words, it was fixing to end my life, and so I went in there to the emergency room, and they stabilized me and kicked me out. Didn't do anything, and that's what they always do. So they told me to go back to Baylor. No, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. So they told me to go to the Baylor thing in the morning, and I really didn't want to go there because I've heard some terrible stories about the Baylor dental.
Is that dental clinic there? You see,
right?
Yeah, those people all outdoors lined up.
4:00 in the morning.
Right. Yeah. So that's what they told me to do. Here I was about to die.
That ain't funny, but
4 in the morning. No, it was funny because I'm just a storyteller. This happens to everybody. I'm not important. It's the fact that this happens to so many thousands of people, and I can tell our story. I walked in there, and then they were going to turn me away, and I said, I just went to Baylor's whatchamacallit, and they said, well, we're A&M. I said, so because this is A&M, I'm going to have to go out and die. And so then somebody got me in, and then the doctor who was going to take care of me, he seemed like a really, really nice guy. And he said he noticed a little bit of a brown spot on my eyelid, and he said, that looks like that might be melanoma. Turns out he had done his internship with another doctor over on Turtle Creek somewhere, and he tried to get me to give them $200 worth of my business by telling them he would do this pro bono. All I had to do was go over to the other clinic. This guy was named Dr. Kane at Baylor.
No, don't call any person names. No person.
All right. Okay. I won't do that again. I didn't know that was the policy. So he goes. He sends me over to this other clinic, and they say no, it's going to be $200. He had acted like he was a kind-hearted person who was going to help a homeless guy. I wasn't even homeless at the time, with a skin cancer thing, and all he was trying to do was get $200 worth of business for his other guy he'd just done an internship with, and it was so embarrassing and humiliating. I went took some tweezers and cut the little brown spot off my eyelid, and told him about it, and that was about the last I heard from him. But I mean, to take somebody you think is homeless and say, well, I can help you out. I'll do this pro bono. I want to help you because I'm a good man. Send you over someplace. And I said, they said they want $200, and he says, well, there's nothing I can do about that. It's just disgusting. Some of the things they do to poor people.
Right. It's
and that's all I got to say for now.
All right, thank you for your call.
Okay, thank you.
Comment.
Okay.
All right. That clears the line. Let's bring our job line on and catch this right before 8:00 and see if Mr. Greg Barber. Greg, are you there?
I'm here, Marion Barnett.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing fine.
Are there any jobs out there?
There are some jobs out here this morning on the SAT job line. The Solutions and Access Today job line brought to you every Saturday morning during church information and open forum here on Knon 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have Napa is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply online at www.jobs.gov
www.jobs.genpt.com. Once again, that web address is www.jobs.genpt.com. LabCorp is looking for warehouse associates. That's being apply online at www.labcorpcareers.com. Once again, that's www.labcorp, C-O-R-P, careers, careers.com. Priority Wire and Cable is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply online at www.appone.com. Once again, that web address is www.appone.com. Anderson's Furniture is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to send your resume to Kimber, Kimber, at andersonsfurniture.com. Once again, Anderson's Furniture is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to send your resume to Kimber, Kimber, at Andersons, ANDERSONSFURNITURE.com. Once again, that's Kimber at AndersonsFurniture.com. Howard Fertilizer and Chemical Company is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to mail your resume to txjobs at hfconline.net. Once again, that email address is txjobs at hfconline.net. If you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in the daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in the daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts.
You're breaking it. Wow. Something happened there. Okay, I tell you what, we're up against a short break. We're going into our second hour. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the job. We're in the second hour, and we'll be right back. All right.
You are listening to KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
You played it? I didn't hear. Okay. All right. Dead air.
Don't let this world mislead you. Don't you ever go astray. Trust in God's word and believe it, 'cause it'll never pass.
All right, we're back on for the second hour of Church Information Open Forum. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Again, would y'all introduce yourself? We have with us the Reverend Ron Wright. He's with one of the, I guess, the most active by far organizations in our cities, Justice Seekers of Texas. And Reverend Wright, good morning. How things been going?
Good morning, Pastor. Been busy as usual. You know, we had a lot of things going on over the last month or so as it relates to crime in the community and some of the things that have been going on. Here recently, we had the young man who killed his ex-wife and her daughter, and then he went on to murder the girlfriend and her family. One of the young men who was actually almost beat to death by this young man is in the Parkland Medical Center for Children now. He's doing a lot better. He's blind in one eye. He's paralyzed. He was almost physically beaten to death. And it's unfortunate, but we've been in contact with that family and making sure that they're all right, about as best as they can be.
Now,
all right.
Is this the young man that was a belly dancer or something?
Something with the former Dallas Mavericks. He was one of the cheerleaders or dancers or something with the Dallas Mavericks who committed this crime. We're not real sure. There are several reasons that have came across that why he committed the crimes that he did. We're not real sure yet. They are proven that they haven't disclosed that. We are doing an investigation because we were informed that on the initial shooting, that when he shot the first young lady and her daughter, that the son was in the bedroom calling 911, and the 911 operator gave him 50,000 questions opposed to sending the police over immediately. When the grandmother came over, and which y'all saw her story on TV, the police still had not gotten to the crime scene, and when she ran out, the grandson left her there and went and got his daughter and came back, and the police still had not arrived. And so,
what city was this in?
Dallas.
This is in the city of Dallas.
Dallas. And so we're doing an open records request to get a copy of that 911 tape to see what was so wrong with when a kid's calling you and telling you somebody just got murdered. Why wouldn't you send it? And I know they have the information. When you pull up an address, they automatically can tell where you are.
When you make a phone call, they can tell where you are.
The kid was there, from my understanding, the child was asked, "Are you in Dallas? Are you in Duncanville? Or are you in DeSoto?" I mean, and if you're a 911 operator, you should have that information when you pull up the address. I don't know any two streets in Dallas or Duncanville that has the same address and the same name. I don't know. I've been there.
They know you can call on your cell phone. They can tell you where you are.
Yeah.
They can pinpoint you.
And so we've been investigating that and looking into that. Unfortunate to see. And, prior to that happening, they had a rally downtown about the George Zimmerman thing. And Reverend Barnett, we did a press conference not too long about black on black violence. And I informed that George Zimmerman felt comfortable in doing what he did because we do it to ourselves and don't say a word. And so there's no disparity when it comes to violence. Why is it that we rally when George Zimmerman killed a young black boy, but when we kill each other, nobody's rallying and nobody's saying anything?
Only thing I have to say about that, there's such thing as white on white violence.
Absolutely.
There are far more white people kill each other than blacks. Most people don't know that. Whites have given you, look at the 20th century. How many world wars did they give us?
Okay.
Hundreds of thousands, millions of people were killed. How many conflicts did we have during the 20th century? Millions of people were killed.
Right.
Maimed, injured. That's white on white crime. But at the same time, it's how you address that crime. The problem with George Zimmerman was the man was not even arrested. Okay. He killed this boy. Went home the same night with his weapon. It wasn't until 44 days later, after Black Talk Radio across this nation pushed so hard that what they call the mainstream media had to pick it up and run with it. They were not going to even prosecute this guy. This guy was going free. And that's what really was the shame on this particular case.
But the reason why that happened like it happened, and the young lady from Union just said, because we sit back silent. Silence doesn't help the tormented. It helps the tormentor.
Right.
Now, with that being said, just last week there was a white man that shot an 8-year-old boy in the mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they blowed his jaw off.
Blowed his jaw off.
Yeah.
So what was the purpose of that? He didn't.
I didn't even know he was white.
He didn't live in that apartment complex. He stayed down the street. The question is, why were you in that apartment complex in the first place? Witnesses said he was pointing the gun around.
Look how the media report things.
Absolutely.
Is how they frame a case. They'll frame it according to ethnicity. They frame it.
Yeah.
They frame it. They can tell you this woman killed 5 children, but they can put her in such a light that her murder of her own 5 children, people will feel sorry for her. Let her sister do it. You think they're gonna have you so angry with her? You ready to go burn the jailhouse down with her in it?
But those are some of the things that we've been challenging. We've done a press conference about black on black violence, and of course, a lot of media didn't show that press conference because that's getting information out saying we got to stop the crimes that are being committed in our own community.
Right.
This young man that just raped all of these young women. Shame on the Dallas Police Department that it takes 3 months for you to let them know.
Sometimes when they put an African American in a key position, are they doing that sometimes to handicap African American?
Well, let me tell you something. That was the old Jim Crow theory. Out of the old Jim Crow theory, sometimes I don't have to be white to do something to you because I can get you to do something to yourself. And not only was that in that position of the chief of police, but we can look at our district attorney's office right now. We'll give a young man 30 years or 10 years or 5 years for killing a dog, but on black violence, you get no time.
Yeah.
That was a young man whose stepfather killed his mother, and she had 5 little children. They gave him 5 years for murder. That man is up in New York right now living his life.
Right.
Moved on. 5 years for murdering a woman.
Well, when we look at this whole situation, this man, this 9 women have come forth. Why did it take so long to let these people know, let the women know, let the men know, let the people in the community know that there was a serial rapist out there in the community?
That falls on the chief of police.
After the first one in North Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
The man didn't even have a chance.
You would have known about this fella.
Well, the man didn't have
After
the one that they had out there in North Dallas. The man didn't have a chance to zip his pants back up before it was all over the media.
Yeah.
But it took us
And
9 minutes.
that was in Lake Highlands area?
Lake Highlands.
They had him caught in 2 days?
Absolutely. So why is there a disparity?
But this fella have gone on and raped some more, and they never said a word.
He's an idiot anyway, because the area that he was doing that in, this highly drug crime area, and you don't have to take anything from people in that area, unfortunately. They'll give it to you if you just ask for it.
Well. But I back to that question.
But why is
there
there
several things? The killing over there on Bonneview Drive. You know, when we were over in those apartments.
Absolutely.
That
Tobias Mackey.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to. People are so critical when we criticize and point out the fact that this is happening, even under a black chief. And they say you need to leave that alone because he's black. No, we cannot be violated. I don't care what color he is. I don't care what color he is.
The district attorney's office, shame on why is it that we cannot get a police officer indicted for killing unarmed men? Tobias Mackey family the city has offered them $500,000 each of our money.
Why are they paying this money if they're not guilty?
Why are they paying this money if this officer is not indicted?
But he's not. He's still on the street. Still on the floor.
Police shooting, the young lady's son simply went to his girlfriend's house to get his clothes out of the house. She lied and told the police that he was trying to break in. The police ran him down. Witnesses saw the police officer 10 feet from the suspect with his gun drawn, and the next thing you know, he said his life was in jeopardy. We can't get an officer indicted. This is ridiculous.
It's sad.
It's absolutely sad, and it's shame on the people who look like us that are in those positions to say something. We don't care about. And I said this to very good friends, but we don't.
Our politicians, are they cooperating with you?
We're not worried about trash bags on the streets versus crime that's going on the streets. And I can understand we need to keep the city clean, but before we complain about eliminating trash bags, let's put some people to work. There are plenty of young men out here who are begging for jobs and can't get jobs because they won't be forgiven for the mistakes.
Let me bring our union people in on this. Right across the street from my precinct, they've just built a Walmart up on the hill there at I-35 in Ledbetter. Are y'all familiar with that one? This is one of the great big ones. Oh, it's a big one up there. These fellas are not. They're not very popular when it comes to being known to pay well and give good benefits. Are y'all going to visit these people or what? Do y'all have anything to do with the Walmart people?
Well, Walmart's being organized by another group, and we met with them.
I mean, do unions ever come together and y'all work together? Now, these people are the biggest employers in the world, biggest corporation in the world, worldwide. But what they're doing is driving down wages worldwide. Have y'all ever looked at them?
We have, but in the past we have, but right now the Walmart's being Walmart employed Walmart associates have formed an organization called Our Walmart under the auspices of the United Food and Commercial Workers, and they're the ones who are doing that work.
Now this is a union, the United Food Social Worker. What is this? Walmart's union or what is it?
No, it's
up. Well, I'm not the authority on this subject, but Walmart has been such a challenge for organized labor that as far as organizing, that they've adopted a new approach to organize in Walmart, and they're not organizing it through the normal National Labor Relations Board procedure. They're organizing workers to take actions against Walmart, and that's what these demonstrations around Walmart that you've been seeing. That's due to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The sad part with that, Pastor, is that Walmart will hire formerly incarcerated people, and people who can't get a job out here, that's made mistakes, and we should all be forgiven that have made mistakes and can't get a job. They're gonna go to Walmart and go to work, and some money beats no money at all.
Yes,
and it's unfortunate we got to sell out like that, but because we didn't fight when we should have.
You are as big as these fellas are. And lady.
Number one
in the whole wide world.
I mean, that's disgracing.
It's no different than any other company where you spend your money.
I understand you feel like it's a catch-22.
I
mean, thank you, catch-22 situation. But I really believe if you get Walmart, if Walmart do what I see them doing, they're going to take over the food industry because.
They opened another store down on that 30 next to Fiesta too.
Yeah,
on Buckner.
Well, they've opened that one. I think that one's running 24 hours. You're gonna drive grocery stores out.
Yeah, Fiesta's right next.
Yeah, Fiesta's right down the street.
right next to it.
Yeah, they used to have
Walmart.
people in there like flies. Yeah. But Walmart is going to undercut that. Yeah. They undercut, and then you got all this down right across the street. Those poor fellas can't stay. They won't
but
be able
that's
to stay.
what Walmart does. I mean, that's exactly their terminology of going into a neighborhood. They closed down all our little 5 and dime stores. I mean, we used to have stores in our neighborhoods. Grocery stores. I mean, they cannot compete against box.
Is America, has it become a fascist country?
It's capitalistic.
No, it's fascist.
It's not capitalistic. Not like it used to supposed to be.
No. When Mom and Pop them had a store, it was capitalistic. Right. But when big business runs everything, including politics, that's fascism. Big business is running everything, and what I can understand is too many of us out here to allow these fellas to take over.
But you can't come together in unity and be a power. And there's power in numbers, and as long as they keep us divided, there will never be power. Somebody's never going to be threatened.
So we got too many people on coke.
Well,
I'm talking about KOCH.
Okay, I'm saying
right. Yeah, we got too many people on that. They are financing everything.
Yes,
that's working. They got people. They putting so much money in. They got people working against themselves. Y'all, when y'all go to these workers there at the school system and Dallas Public School, you see y'all the food workers, janitorial service, and everything. Is it hard to organize them? Now, both of y'all don't jump at the same time.
Well,
I'm good. I'm let Kenneth talk, and I'm gonna tell you some stories.
Well, you have to understand that there's a lot of workers in this state. The workers we organize are the workers who they've tried to legislate their rights away from them. The workers we organize are the workers for whom it is illegal to engage in collective bargaining. It's the workers for whom it is illegal to strike. And so when we organize, but we're one of the few unions that have taken the position that just because people have been, these workers have been denied their rights, have been denied access to the National Labor Relations Board procedures for organizing, we've taken the position that we're going to organize them anyway. And
you say it's illegal for them to organize.
We don't have contracts.
It's illegal for public employees to have contracts. It's illegal for them.
Is that a federal law?
No, it's a state law that was.
This is a state law. In Texas, I don't know. That don't surprise
And
me.
that's the situation of most public employees in the South.
Is it difficult for people to join the union?
No.
No.
And let me tell you the reason why I'm asking that is because in the past is asking us questions, and some of the questions you guys can't answer. People that are listening, how am I going to get you to represent me when you don't want to be a voice for me? Where was the union when they brought a lot of illegal immigrants into this state to cause Texans to lose their jobs?
Not same time.
But
Well,
I mean, that's the. We
Well,
got that
I mean,
mentality of neutrality, and that doesn't help the oppressor. That helps the oppressed. That helps the oppressor. So where were unions when they were taking jobs from legal citizens in this state, and eventually we reap what we sow. Now we're in a position where Walmart feel comfortable in doing what they're doing because we haven't been a voice.
Okay.
Well, it's not.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What really happens is that people came over here. This is a free country, and unions represent.
When you say free, what do you mean by that?
I mean to come in here.
Oh.
But we got these imaginary chains that hold bind us. But anyway, these are the people that were most oppressed. These are the people that usually join the unions and fight because they come over here and they were sold a pipe dream that was not true. Okay, so in San Antonio, Houston, where else is it? We have people that joined the union and actually doing something about it. But what you want us to say was when they came, we did organize them to be a part of the labor movement. And their voices should be heard. But, like you said, labor was not involved when NAFTA moved jobs
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Are you for the jobs bill that President Obama and Democrats have been trying to get Republican support for? Are you for a jobs bill to rebuild the infrastructure of America? Would you be for that?
I'm for any measure that would bring employment to the people to the working class of this country. Can I answer
Well,
that
now
way?
that would create millions of jobs. Rebuilding. When you travel abroad and see how modern some countries that we used to consider backwards, they are far, their airports, their facilities, everything is far more modern than America. America, hey, when you drive across the bridge now, most people don't realize your life is at risk.
Yes, exactly.
Any bridge you got right, just about in America now might fall anytime. And people don't realize. Are we up against a short break? Y'all can call us at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. We'll be right back.
Knon thanks you for your pledge to our recent pledge drive. Now is the time to make your pledge count. Knon has a new address to send your pledge to. Knon no longer uses a P.O. box. So send your pledge to Knon 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas 75235. And if you missed our pledge drive, you can still support community radio by pledging on the web at knon.org. Your pledge only counts if you pay it. Remember, don't use the P.O. box. Send that pledge to Knon 5353 Maple Avenue, Suite 200 in Dallas, 75235. Be sure to put the name of the show you are supporting on the check, money order, or envelope. Questions about Knon Pledge Drive? Call 214-828-9500, extension 234.
When they're gone for good. This is Scott from Knon's Texas Blues Radio telling you don't miss out on some great blues. Knon's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. It's a CD put together by real blues fans for real blues fans like you. Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 features great local blues from Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, JJ and the Detonators, the Chris Watson Band, the Two Tones, Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, Dave Millsap, Sirloin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Tutu Jones, Blues Boy Bo, Buddy Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, and Johnny Red and the Roosters. Get a copy now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records. This is a Dallas Blues collector's item. A very limited amount of vinyl copies can be found at Forever Young Records, the sponsor of this great blues project. CD downloads are available at cdbaby.com. Whether you get it as a download, on vinyl, or on CD, all the proceeds will benefit KNON. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org.
Singing that song, there's power in the
All right, we are back on Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. We're talking about survival. We're talking about survival this morning. We're not even talking about thriving because we're talking about jobs that's basically our survival job. We want to fix them where we can begin to thrive and move forward, where America can be America. I never dreamed 50 years ago as a young man that I would be in a day and time where there's a good chance my grandchildren will not live as well as I have lived. Exactly. That has never been in the vision or in the thought or the structure of the brain of America.
You know, they celebrate the march. We went to Washington, the 50-year anniversary march of Dr. King.
Yeah.
We went back 50 years.
It's basically, it was not really a commemoration, it was a continuation of really what was going on. Every speaker that got up there saying we're facing the same problems for the most part that we were facing in 63. The only thing, see, in 63, we were trying to check into the hotel. And 2013, we have problems checking out of the hotel. You know, you can get in, but you can't get out now.
But let me ask you something.
There are problems that's so systemic in America that people don't even have to think. They're just going to react in that way. It's a racist system that they have to act in a way that they don't even think they're racist. But it is a system that's set up in America that you react, we all react, white people react in a central system and do a racist thing without even being cognizant of it.
Even with that being said, Pastor, at what point do we need to be held accountable for the things that we do to ourselves?
At all points. Yes, we can go back to history. We can go back and see what has happened. But at this point in time, we've made so many mistakes. We turn our school system. Our school systems now are zero. Our children aren't being taught anything. Not even white children. White children, they're not being educated. They're being given a bill of goods that promotes certain people in America and degrade other people in America. I'm talking about true education. Our education system is not. There are a few elites that get the esoteric knowledge, but those who are everyday people usually cannot tell you about themselves, about the history. They don't even know the history of this country.
They don't.
They think they know the history of America.
No.
Most people, 99% of these people in this country don't know the history of America, how America really got to be what it once was. See, most people don't realize, right after slavery, the most admired people in America were black people. We're black people because they say we were loyal. The system had to change the thinking of whites in America to turn negative toward black people in order for them to sustain and promote white supremacy. Most people don't even realize that. They have never been taught history about really how this country got to be. Why Wall Street is what it is. Why you can stand on Wall Street because we stood in tobacco fields.
That's right.
Cotton fields. Sorghum fields. That's not taught. That's why there is a Wall Street, because of what our ancestry did. But it's not taught. People never think about it. You never imagine it. They do not equate the two. You want to talk?
Basically, that's the reason we really do need to back a jobs plan. And you understand why people in power have ignored that, because if you move me up to where I can spend money and have things, then that's power. And once I get educated, and I understand how the system works, I take the power from the power being. Basically, we work with poor people.
They don't want to share.
Well, power has never been shared. All the books that I read on power, I mean, it has not.
God even shares some power with the devil.
He does. He gives us. I mean, people,
now he has all power, but he even shares some. He shares some with the devil.
These people do not want to. They do not want you have to fight them to the end, to give them, to let them have power. And that's the reason they have tried this movement of busting the unions and telling people they don't need to join the unions. And I'm saying to people, you don't even have, what you got from unions with 40 hours a week. You had to be paid overtime pay.
You got the 40-hour week, work week.
And no employer gave you anything, okay?
Did you know that you almost lost what was known as overtime?
Yeah.
Here, we went. No, this was a few months ago. I was in Washington. I was there in the gallery.
Overtime.
Sheila Jackson Lee, they had to fight. Yeah, what's his name? Little fella out of North Carolina, Virginia. He was trying to take away overtime. Said we need to revamp this and give it to somebody who really needs to give it to housewives and all of the little things that go on in America. They're steady whacking away the rights of working class people.
And you're right.
And they go, hey, if you don't be careful, slavery will be right back, but it's going to be more than just black folk.
Well, they want to take away the minimum wage, period. Right. So if people just sit back and think that, people are going to take care of you, and that is wrong, because minimum wage is if they have enough to overthrow that, they want to get rid of minimum wage.
Right.
And that is an issue that people need to stand up, so they can hire you and pay you $4.35 an hour and say,
you've been awfully nice. They'd probably take it back to $1.25. All right, I'm going to take some calls. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line one and say good morning to James. All righty. Good morning, James.
Good morning. This James in Palestine. I heard the other James, but this one is in Palestine.
All righty.
All of you on the program, you represent the very essence of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's speech and what he was talking about. From the ground, the grassroots up is where it is. I appreciate President Obama. I appreciate all these people that's on the top, but down below where I am, the people I experience every day, they're out here picking up cans and out on the street corners doing all kind of self-medication and everything. The real poor, I think a lot of people that make over probably $20-some thousand a year they know them, and some of them are their family members, but they don't have an association or relationship. And I'm always stressing about the church and the preachers, and I get a lot of slack down here about that, like I don't like preachers or I'm an anti-Christ or whatever, but it starts with the churches, the school, the community, and we need to all come together and really let's spread across like a fire going across a field. And let's really do this. The group that you have with you right now, they need to give out some information. Come together with Run Right, Dr. Petrie, and Imani, and all of us come together and let's sweep this whole thing and get it right. Or just nobody gonna be right. We either gonna be love our neighbors, be our brother's keeper, or we need to just leave it alone. That's right. Because too many people are suffering and dying right there in Dallas. Oprah Winfrey, T.D. Jakes, and all those folks up there. I bet right now, you go walk through Dallas. I'm not trying to intimidate up in Dallas, but go walk the streets right now and see who you see out there after all that money and stuff.
You mean to tell me you don't think, brother Bishop Jakes, you don't think he had any poor folk in there? Oprah didn't come to the poor folk?
You had to pay
No, he
$50
didn't.
a night to get
Reverend
there.
Barnett, I see TD Jakes on TV and all that, and to me, those are the Sanhedrins that was in the Bible. Those only Nicodemus and Joseph and them stepped down to come out there and try to do something. That's the kind of thing. But all that money up there, and you got people suffering. Just go when you leave that studio this morning, and whoever listening to you, go walk the streets of Dallas. Go to other cities and everything.
Don't worry, we're in the streets every
day.
We in the streets. We see.
This what I'm talking about. But I'm in Palestine, Texas. And we fought against the city of Palestine here as an employee. We got a group together called COPE, C-O-P. We organized and we got some demands, done and all in sacrifice. I wound up having to sue them about race discrimination and civil rights violation, but still, we need to do these things to get their attention because there's too many people riding on other people's shoulders and back and not helping out down here. It's really bad, and I'm not trying to offend any race or any city or anything, but either we're going to be our brothers, keep in love one another, or let's just forget the whole thing. And all these church houses tomorrow, it's going to be full of preachers coming from all over Dallas and forward coming down here in our city, sitting up on these stands like they're really Jesus or something, and come to these funerals. It'll be 3 or 4 of them at a funeral like they go escort somebody to heaven or hell. And the Reverend, when you hear me talk and say what I say, I don't fear death or anything. I'm willing to walk point or whatever I need to do in Dallas or Palestine. But here's the 2 things that my mother and father going on and all, but I say these 2 things to anybody listening right now. Only Jesus and God can get you into heaven or hell. All these other folks, if you're going to bow down to a preacher or elders and all that.
I'm going to ask Reverend Wright, was that Mega Fest or Mega Mess? What was that?
Mega Mess. And the caller makes a very valid point. The other day, Tyler Perry was on Jakes' show, and they asked him for $130,000. He wrote him a check for $1 million. I mean, where is this money going? And we talk about when we look at us as a black people and why we're unemployed, the millions of dollars that Oprah gave a young lady just to ask her if she was an alcoholic, and she confessed to being an alcoholic. They paid her $1 million to say that. That's the kind of money could put us to work.
Yes, sir.
It can make us stronger. But you know what? We're our own worst enemy. And the way you eliminate that is that, if you don't see, I tell people all the time, you don't see your people, don't spend your money.
All righty.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your call.
Yes, sir.
Exclusion line 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Who's it?
I was just going to reiterate on that. Al Sharpton had people on TV last night talking about how, the re-announcing of the 50 years and how people had come aboard. And while I was sitting there watching it, I was saying, okay, you got Stevie Wonder, Magic Johnson is doing some things. I think he came to Dallas trying to do some things.
Now he really is. Now he is putting his money where his mouth is.
He's putting his money. But if we had more, and
Magic.
Steven does his little voice about he'll back you. And I don't know what his content is. Tyler Perry has hired a lot of people to do his movies and did. That was a man on the street. I mean, if I was the man on the street and I became that great, I would just still do my thing, but I would bring the man on the street, every street person in, because people here in Dallas don't realize when you see a street man out there on the corner, he's trying to raise his money to go to a shelter sometime and sleep at night because, they charge.
But with that being said, and you saying that, and my brothers in the clergy, and we have great respect for them, and the caller kept mentioning preachers, but preachers are, all of us have a ministry, and that are just some who refuse to accept theirs and others that do. So when you say preachers, you're looking at everybody. God ordained every last one of us to have a ministry, whether we choose to accept it or not. But with that being said, the African American, the black African American churches put billions of dollars in the bank every Monday morning, and we don't own nothing.
Without the African Americans spending, we spend more cash money than anybody. Wall Street would have collapsed years ago. Let's go back to our phone lines, 972-647-1893. I am going to take some calls, more calls than I did in the last let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Billy, all righty? Good morning, Billy. Hello, is Billy there? Is he gone already? All righty. 972-647-1893. Just bring me on line 3. Bring line 3 on. Bring it on. Good morning. You're on KNON. Mitchell.
I'm Mitchell Shamus. Are you speaking to me?
Yes, Mitchell. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And up there in Oklahoma, as you know, we're probably the reddest of the red states.
Mm-hmm.
We defunded education so much that we're only barely ahead of Mississippi, who's at the bottom of the flock.
Are y'all ahead of Texas?
Oh, probably.
You be running neck and neck. Texas is down there, too.
And years ago when I was in college, my undergraduate degree was in political science. So every time our Republican legislature starts to do something, you want to sit back and figure out why. In our last presidential election, half the states went Democrat, half the states went Republican. It was a split, 25% or 25 states, 25 states, straight down the middle. Of the ones that went Democrat, there were 20% more high school graduates. There were 25% more college graduates, according to the U.S. Census. So up in Oklahoma, we've decided that our legislature's goal is, they've got a little motto: keep them dumb, keep them Republican. So,
well,
I mean to interrupt, but
they've got that part right. They got it right because really, I'll just come out and be honest about it. If we could teach white Americans that, hey, we're on your side, we're all in this thing together. The big, powerful, wealthy don't care anything about anybody. They're going to use you against yourselves. Now, many white Americans have come aboard and waking up every day. I hope it's keep going with the speed is going, because in Washington, at the March in Washington, there were many, many white Americans that they were there. And when we see white Americans waking up and see that, hey, the wealthy don't care anything about anybody that's not wealthy, not like them. They don't care what your race is, your ethnicity. They'll use you against yourself. We wake up, and people wake up. We can change this whole nation.
Pastor, why is it that we have to be attacked as a nation in order for us to come together as one? Why do we have to if we get a terrorist attack, then we're all brothers and we all crying together?
We'll come back and talk about that. It's your country too, then, because I was on there when.
I don't mean to get off on a tangent, but once the communists gave up wherever they were, and we didn't have a big time enemy anymore, they didn't need the rest of us except to use.
All right, I tell you what. Thank you for your call. We're up against a short break, and we'll talk about that when we get back. All right.
Bye-bye.
The Creative Arts Center of Dallas, in conjunction with Big Thought, presents the Thriving Minds program, providing arts training and education to children and teens in metal arts, jewelry making, photography, and figure drawing, to name only a few. For nearly 50 years, the Creative Arts Center of Dallas has offered visual art classes to students of all ages, now offering more than 500 classes and workshops each year. Their website is creativeartscenter.org or by phone at 214-320-1275.
All right, y'all kids show that English show. All right, we're back on the air. 972-647-1893 is the number for you to call. We're talking about joining together, coming together, unionizing. We're not doing it in a sugar-coated thing. I know we want to be no. The only way you can really get any progress is bring the truth out about the situation, and address it and move forward. progressives in this country is coming on strong. You're coming on strong, but we're trying to speed the progress of America up, because there have been so many myths that's been perpetrated upon the average American over the years that Americans believe a lot of myths that's just totally untrue. Most of the people that you see in America is not somebody that's laying up and just having babies and so they can get more welfare, because you don't come to Texas looking to get rich on welfare. Believe me, you're not going to get rich in Texas and nowhere else, but you sure not going to get rich on welfare in Texas. And when you're looking at the situation, you find that we tend to separate and divide ourselves under such silly rules. Ethnicity, we divide ourselves. Education, we divide ourselves. Skin color, we divide ourselves. Hey, the powers that be, the wicked, evil powers that be, stay in power because of our divisions. If we learn not to divide ourselves, because hey, like the old saying go, we may came over on different ships, but we're all in the same boat now. They got us where they want us.
Old Roman tactic pass, conquer and divide
and conquer.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah. And we have to understand that we need to come together. And let me ask us, I'm going to make the women mad out there. Why was it so hard over the years to get women to organize in a union? Why do you think it was?
Because women in our sector was already running households and things, but I just think that some part of it, when you talk to people, and I'm just going on why we can't get women to come together, is because they feel like they have power and they know, and some of them are scared.
Well, see, a lot of it, union organized, nobody wants to talk about it. I'll bring it up. A lot of the reasons why our unions were weakened, because men would unionize, but women fought union. Brother, do you want to touch this? You gonna duck this one?
No, let me. I'm not ducking anything. I want to answer this directly. Now, I went to a union school. And here's what they taught us about organizing. When you go out, when you target people to organize, when you're looking for people to organize, you find the people you start with the people who are the most oppressed. And in this society, the most oppressed are black women. There are people who are oppressed at home and people who are oppressed at work.
Is that what they taught you in that school?
That's what they taught.
They didn't teach you truth. They wasn't right with that.
No. Most oppressed is black men.
Yeah.
Not black women.
Then the next.
All right, go right ahead, though. All right, go on.
No, that's not true.
That's what we were told. And the next group was black men. The next group was white women, and the next group was white men.
Okay, why was it hard to get women to organize? Because over the years, I used to head the union at DFW Airport. I was the head. And I know you could get men to join. Yeah. Just snap of a finger. Women, no.
Well,
they have.
My experience is different.
It will?
My experience is different. My mother was a recording secretary of the UAW Local 893 and 848 in the early 1960s. Women were there to be organized, but the people who were running the unions were men, and they didn't recognize that.
Well, let me say this, and I was a member of the UAW. I used to work for Ford Motor Company. And the plant was, I guess, 98% men. But we had 100% union membership in that plant. 5,200 East Grand, right there. Men were come together. They knew the importance of the union. But when women began to come around, I don't think so. I'm not going to give them my money. It was a total different attitude. Let me go to the phone line. Let me take Malcolm on line 4. All righty. Good morning, Malcolm.
Good morning. Two comments. One was the garment workers union was predominantly women. That's my understanding. But my question is, I'd like for your panel to address the difference between a right to work state such as Texas and those states that do not have right to work laws, and what effect that has on the ability to organize a union and for the union to become effective. Those are my question. I'll hang up.
You're talking about a closed shop and an open shop state.
Well,
yeah, in a closed shop state, you got to join the union to get the job.
Well, I wanted them to not only address the closed shop, but the agency shop and how the right to work laws affect all that.
All right, y'all go ready?
Well, basically what it means is that in a closed shop state, you have to, like the Reverend said, you have to join the union to get the job. But in states that have passed right to work laws, it means that you can't be forced to join the union, and on the other hand, you can't be prevented from joining the union. So what it does is leave all of the organizing all up to the union to do. In the closed shop states, as I understand it, as when you went to work, you were handed a union application in personnel.
Well, you got the job by going to the union hall. That's really where you would get employed and different things like that. But now those states have all but vanished. Very few. Yeah. How many of them left? Are there any left?
Not many, but
I don't know. But
go ahead, Kevin.
Well, what we shouldn't focus on that. What we need to understand is that it's up to us now. We've lost a lot of rights over the years, and unions have had a lot of power taken away from them over the years. That's for sure. And the right to work law was an attempt to do that, but we counter that by becoming stronger ourselves and working harder to build power.
What would you say about a state like Michigan? Would you ever believe that Michigan would become an open shop state? They voted. There was union members and people, and it was a unionized state, voted it out. In Michigan, probably one of our most powerful union states over the years. What happened?
Organizations like ALEC, right-wing organizations that control the legislatures in those states, passed laws to do it.
How did they do that to get people to work against themselves? How did that happen?
Well, they take little issues like they coming to take your guns, and then you vote for me, and I'm gonna protect your guns. But in reality, just like the man in what was it, North Carolina, told him right on tape, no, I will not vote on abortion law. They got him on tape. But what he did, he signed the abortion bill. That's how they took rights away from people. They told them they coming to take your guns, vote for me.
A bunch of lies.
Right. So they're really lying. So what Kenneth and I have been up against in Dallas County is that I don't understand why you have to have a contract to tell a bus driver you need to sign this before you can come back to work next week. They're using the right to work law to keep people from organizing, but you actually have me signing a contract. And I have no rights, and that has bugged me. That's the reason I'm doing this work, is to say, if you make me sign a contract, you're dictating to me.
DART drivers, buses and trains and everything, are they organized?
Yeah.
They got a union.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
They got issues.
They got issues, but it's with a...
I got a lot of DART employees that come to our organization with issues with their union. they pretty much force people to be in their union, but the union is
It's
pretty much in
controlled
bed
by
with Dart.
Dart. Yeah.
So the company controls the union.
Right.
So that means somebody at the top is getting paid off something not to represent the workers. And these workers have the power to shut North Texas down.
Sure.
They could shut it down. Billions of dollars would be lost, which, the powers that be don't want that. But why is it that we have been so conditioned to go along with something, people that work against us? How did we get to that condition? Hey, people used to relish unions years ago. Go back in the 60s.
But Ronald Reagan killed that.
When he fired Patco.
Yeah,
he scared them to death.
Yeah, with the air traffic controllers and all that shut the union down in this state. Real big.
Okay.
Ever since in the 80s, he did this in 81. He wasn't in office no time when he fired the air traffic controllers.
Right.
Ever since then, the unions have been on a fast decline. And ever since then, our wages, our benefits, everything has been on a fast decline.
People haven't got raises.
Speaking to Mike, speaking to that.
People hadn't got raises, Reverend Barnett. I mean, this is, if they don't even want to raise the minimum wage, and when you talk to George Bush, and he was, they brought it up, he was going, well, people should go in and be able to negotiate that contract with your employee. When you tell people that means you need to have a contract. Right. Don't that mean all the big... See, here's my problem again with the working force. When you hire people on Wall Street, they sign a contract. CEOs have contracts. I have people that we call them mid-employees, work for Halliburton. They hired on, gave up $15,000 when it didn't work out a year ago. They let her go, but that was in her contract. If I let you...
Let me ask him this. Did the murder of Jimmy Hoffa had anything to do with this? What happened to men like Jimmy Hoffa, Walter Reuther? These were some of the most powerful and well-known men in this country, union leaders. What happened to them? What happened to that?
Well, to start with, the deindustrialization of America.
Jobs were moving overseas.
When jobs were moved overseas, it cut the legs out from under the unions, basically. With no jobs and no workers and no one to organize.
Okay, but
that hurt the unions more than anything else.
The UAW should be back because cars are being made in America again. What about them?
Cars. There's more. There are more auto plants in the South now, and there have been for a long time than there.
Which means they're
are in Michigan.
Yeah, they anti-union.
And the unions haven't got geared up to organize these southern plants. Is the only way. Is
why?
Why? Well, I can't give a direct answer to that except to say that they have. I don't know. I can't answer that question. But now here's a point I would like to make, if I can.
Go ahead.
When we talk about what's wrong with this country, the real wages of workers in this country hasn't changed since 1970. In other words, we haven't gotten in real terms, our wages are the same now as they were in 1970.
Well, now they've gone down, haven't they?
In real terms, I'm saying what we're making now is the same or less than what we were making in 1970.
Yeah, because the minimum wage now. Because the reason why I'm cutting in because we're out of time. The minimum wage was $1.25. By today's term, when they first passed it, that would be $13.51 if we were still getting the equivalent to the $1.25. So wages have gone down. But we're out of time. But give them a number, something, address, number for people to contact y'all. Who y'all like to contact y'all? Give them.
Okay.
Contact for information about the Affordable Health Care Act, how to enroll, or any particulars you have, any particular information you want, call 214-823-2001. If you're a low-wage worker and you want to get together, build some power, and fight back, call 214-823-2001.
All righty. Any particular person they need to ask for?
No. Just leave a message if nobody answers the phone.
And y'all will get back with them?
And we'll be back with you as soon as humanly possible.
Okay, so that's for low-wage workers, minimum wage workers who are looking for maybe to organize and come together so they can have a better quality of life.
Right, or any issue you got on the job. We'll talk about that.
All righty. Thank you all for coming. And thank you, Reverend Wright. I know you got a lot more you want to talk about. We're going to have to get you back on here real soon. And we'll work it out. But we had to bring this because without health care, without so many things that this union is promoting that's going to help a lot of people, we had to bring this show on the air this morning, and we're proud to have it. All right, I'm Marion Barnett, your host.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.